Get into doing the love of God. Get into blessing. Now, Antioch was a very special congregation. Why? Why was this congregation chosen to made all the world missions? Really? Well, they had Barnabas and Paul for members is pretty good. If you have Paul as a member, that's pretty good. But why so blessed? Well, the first people from this congregation were the ones who were called Christians or Messianic or Messiah followers. They were chosen in so many ways to be a blessing. Why? One, they had a giving heart. They wanted to send. They wanted to bless. They had the heart of giving. Messiah said, "Give and it shall be given to you. Bless it, you shall be blessed." Get into it. Don't fear giving. Bless. Do as much giving as you can. Anytime you see it, bless. The people I know who are blessed, I know people, and there are people who sort of, about it saying, well, I'm giving. He says, I know God's going to bless me, and all right, but they get into giving anyway. That's okay. Get into giving at any point. Do as much giving as you can. I mean, in every way in your life. They were a congregation of prayer. It says they prayed and fasted, and then they laid hands on. They were a congregation of love. That's why they were blessed. They were made up of new believers. Antioch was made of new believers, and new believers tend to be open to change. They tend to be more ready to step out and to say, hey, it says go, okay, go, because nobody told them you don't go when the Bible says go. Antioch was a congregation of enthusiasm. Enthusiasm means filled with God. Enthusiasm. They were enthusiastic about God. They were also grounded in the Word. They had teachers. They had Paul. They had Barnabas. At the same time, open to the Spirit. They had people speaking prophetically. And they had people, and they were grounded everything by the Word. Antioch was linked to the underground church, because everything was underground, but they were especially linked to persecution. They were born out of persecution. And so there's something about that. They were open to break out of the wineskins. We don't know any better, so we're going to tell everybody. We told Jew and Gentile, we don't know any better. We don't know you can't do that. So they were not limited. In Jerusalem, they were the first, but many of them were limited because they were what happened? They were the original, and this is the way we do it. This is the way we always, even though it was the first church anywhere in the world, they didn't have much tradition, but this is the way we do it. This is how we can't think in those terms. But Antioch was the breaking point. And they were a people of the Great Commission. They said, God always blesses those who go out in the Great Commission. They were also Jew and Gentile, one in Messiah. Without that, there's something missing, I sometimes have a problem if one congregation is only one culture, one people. This is only this nationality. I have a little problem. Not if you're in that nation, that's one thing, because that means you're open to anybody. But if you're among many people and it's only this, I'm wondering if there's something being stopped there. Because God's Spirit is wine. It's going to go forth to every nation, to every kind of people. And love cannot be restricted or partial. Why were they blessed? They blessed Israel. They blessed the Jewish people. God said, I will bless those who bless you. Antioch was the first church to bless back. Bless Israel. Bless the Jew. Bless there. So imagine how it was for Jerusalem to then receive the gifts from Antioch for us. And that says something. Because I called this message, I called this Blessing Naomi. Because salvation, it says, has come from Israel. It has gone from the Jewish people to the Gentiles, not to take away from Israel, but to ultimately to bless them back. Salvation came to Israel, so you who are not of Israel could be blessed. Salvation has come to you, so Israel could be blessed back. It is to the glory, if you're born again, it is to the glory of Israel. The church is called the Commonwealth of Israel. And so this is an awesome thing, going back to summing up the Book of Ruth, that this beautiful picture that God gave of this Jewish mother-in-law, this Jewish woman, she goes with her family and her 2 sons and her husband to another land of the Gentiles. Her husband dies, her son dies, her other son dies after they marry 2 Gentile women. And she's only left alone with the 2 Gentile daughter-in-laws, one of them being Ruth. And she says, I must now go back. My name is bitterness now. I am bitter. I have nothing left in my life. I'm going to go back to my homeland. That's going to be the end of my life. I've got nothing. And Ruth says, no. I will go with you. And the other one says, I'll go with you too. And she says, no, children, there's nothing for you back there. Go home. Go marry again. You're still young. Go. And Ruth, the other one goes, but Ruth clings on. And she says, wherever you go, I'm going. Wherever you dwell, I dwell. Your people shall be my people, and your God shall be my God. And where you die, that's where I'm going to be buried. So she goes. So Naomi says, okay, come. What can I try to warn you? She goes back. And they're back in the land of Israel. And Ruth is living for Naomi. She goes back and she's going to the fields to gather and gleaning for the leftovers for the strangers that are in the fields that every field of Israel is supposed to have. So she's gathering and gathering. She comes across the field of Boaz. And she comes home, and Boaz sees her and knows who she is and knows that she's helping Naomi, and he gives her, he says, leave extra stuff for them. So she gets extra. She goes home, and Naomi says, where have you been with all this? And Naomi's blessed. He says, I've been in the field of this Boaz. I said, Boaz, he's a relative. He goes, and then Naomi works out this thing as a Jewish mother to hook up Boaz and Ruth. Has this little plan, and it goes there, and Ruth comes to Boaz while he's laying down at the harvest and lays down by his feet. And when he wakes up and it says, behold, a woman, behold, what's this? He says, what's it? She says, spread your cloak over me, for you are to be a kinsman redeemer to me. And it ends up, he spreads his cloak over her, and he ends up at the end of the book, he marries her, and Ruth and Boaz have a child, and the child is given to Naomi to be a blessing to carry on the name. I mean, it's still Ruth, but Naomi. Such a beautiful thing there. And that's a picture for Naomi is Israel, is the Jew. She goes to the nations, yet through her comes the blessing to the Gentile, to Ruth. And you are Ruth. If you are not born of Israel, you are Ruth. And Ruth then, salvation has come to you through Israel, but Israel is still mourning, still needs their blessing. But then through Ruth ends up going to the field, and she meets the Redeemer. And he blesses her. So the Lord has blessed you. You've been in the field of Messiah. And he blesses you, but not just so you can be blessed, but so you can bring the blessing and bless Israel. Bring it home to Naomi. Bless Naomi. And so Naomi will look and say, wow, where did you get this? I want what you have. Where did you get all this? And through you, and then, through the marriage of the Redeemer and you, that the fruit that will be born will be a blessing to Israel. In the end, a blessing. So here, Jerusalem is Naomi. They give birth to Antioch. Antioch is like Ruth, and Ruth brings back and blesses Naomi. Blesses Naomi. And that's how the age is going to end. Salvation came from the Jew to the Gentile. Will go from the Gentile to bless the Jew, and Jew and Gentile shall be one in Messiah. Now, as we bring it home, something hit me.